What counts against Darren Moore, apparently, is his experience. He hasn't got any. Not when placed against Dean Smith and Michael Appleton, the early frontrunners for the West Bromwich Albion job next season. And, true, Moore hasn't got the best part of 5 seasons in League One with Walsall, like Smith, or a combined total of 27 games during stints at Blackpool and Blackburn, like Appleton. He does have arguably the most remarkable run of results recorded by any manager in the Premier League this season, but that doesn't seem to matter. From rock bottom, winning at Manchester United and Newcastle, beating Tottenham, drawing with Champions League finalists Liverpool, somehow isn't enough to secure Moore his position permanently. West Brom seem to be reading rather a lot into Appleton's fine years with Oxford in Tiers 3 and 4, don't you think? It makes you wonder where they believe they are heading, long-term. For the record, Smith and Appleton seem very capable managers. Neither, however, have anything like Moore's current run anywhere on their CVs. Appleton knocked Arsenal out of the FA Cup with Blackburn in 2013, and Smith recorded cup victories over championship teams Nottingham Forest and Brighton in 2015-16 when Walsall were in League One. But these were anomalies. What Moore has achieved at West Brom is a rare, if brief, level of consistency. They may be relegated on Tuesday night if there is a winner in the match between Swansea and Southampton. But while it will happen on his watch, Moore is the only one of 3 Albion managers this season who will emerge professionally unscathed. Tony Pulis may have merited greater understanding, but Alan Pardew's reign was calamitous, and it is a miracle that, with 6 days of the season remaining, West Brom's Premier League status remains intact. Yet the word from within right now suggests Moore has earned a place on the new coaching staff, but no more. West Brom require experience next season. Experience of what? Experience of consistently outwitting superior opposition, because neither Smith nor Appleton have that. Experience of the Premier League, presuming it is West Brom's mission to return, because Smith hasn't overseen 1 game there. Appleton's elite managerial experience, meanwhile, amounts to 3 games as caretaker, a 3-3 draw with West Ham, in which West Brom led 3-0 at half-time, and 2 wins with Leicester, one of which was against a championship club, Leeds, in the EFL Cup. It is not as if West Brom are snaring Carlo Ancelotti. This is purely about games in charge. Yet if sheer volume mattered, then Pulis, 1,071 matches and counting, and Pardew, 822 games and unemployed, would have done a lot better this year than Moore, whose next game in charge will be his 6th. Increasingly, for a young manager, getting a job is like the old conundrum around equity cards. Actors couldn't get an equity card without working, but they couldn't work unless they had an equity card. That is how Moore must feel right now. Hearing inexperience is holding him back. How does he become as comfortable in the Championship as Brentford manager Smith, if West Brom don't feel he is qualified to be a Championship manager? And if these final 6 games are without meaning, what was the point of them? Had West Brom gone down with a bullet, as expected, Moore would simply have been expected to slink back to an uncertain future amid the general staff, waiting for a tap on the shoulder and the announcement the new manager wants to bring his own people in. Instead, he has exceeded all expectations. Beaten teams West Brom were not expected to live with, and all it qualifies him for is his old job. Respect is missing, the respect the club should have for what Moore has done, and what he could do, given the opportunity. It is true that not all caretaker promotions work out. Malcolm Crosby earned a permanent role by taking Sunderland to the FA Cup final in 1992, but could not inspire them beyond that, and left midway through the following season with the club facing relegation to the 3rd tier. Equally, Roman Abramovich was unconvinced by Roberto Di Matteo, despite his Champions League victory, but felt under pressure to award him the job anyway. His haste in getting rid of him when results flagged told its own story. Most recently, Craig Shakespeare turned Leicester around after the players had deserted Claudio Ranieri. He did not last long into this season, although that is more to do with Leicester's board than Shakespeare. He merely got a taste of Ranieri's apples. Against that, Chris Coleman did a decent job at Fulham, promoted from caretaker after succeeding Jean Tigana. Glenn Roeder took Newcastle to 7th, as a temporary replacement for Graham Souness. Stuart Pearce just missed out on Europe with Manchester City, before form started to crumble, while Gary Monk achieved Swansea's record Premier League points total. Had they recorded it this season, they would be where Burnley are now. Of course, none of these terms ended in triumph, but that is the nature of the clubs. Nobody is expecting Moore to lead West Brom into the Champions League either. More likely, even if he did well for a year or more, his reign would probably end in failure because, well, it's West Brom, and even if they came straight back it would be a struggle. That is what happens. Happened to Pulis. Would have happened to Roy Hodgson, eventually, had he stayed around. For now, however, Moore is riding a wave. And how many waves have West Brom enjoyed of late? How many times have they known the feeling of a run like this? It was 2017 when West Brom last went 5 games unbeaten, but their opponents between January 21 and February 25 that year were Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Stoke, West Ham, and Bournemouth, not 3 members of the Champions League elite, plus Newcastle away. So what more can Moore do? It will be said that he does not have experience in the transfer market, either, that he will not have awareness of the players West Brom need to get them out of the Championship. Yet why wasn't this a consideration when the club appointed Giuliano Taranio from Fenerbahce as the new technical consultant? West Brom must have had an inkling of where they were heading when Taranio was recruited in April. If the inside track on bargains at Burton Albion isn't necessary for the technical director, why should it matter so much for Moore? Had the club not saddled itself with a complete novice in terms of Championship recruitment, previous posts include Monza, Lazio, Inter Milan and Fenerbahce, maybe they would be able to give Moore his due. As it is, it would take little time to provide him with an expert assistant. Maybe Smith or Appleton would want the job, and Moore could pass on his experience of exceeding expectations in the Premier League. Fox's job is turning poisonous before Leicester's latest half-hearted debacle against West Ham. Owner Vishai Srivaddhanath Prabha used his program notes to revisit the qualities behind their fast-fading success. "There is a unique spirit of togetherness that defines this club," he said. "Yeah, right. Leicester are together in the way the Borgias were. Nobody gets stabbed in the back because it saves time to go round the front. The players stop playing. The board side with the players against the manager. Nobody is safe, miracle workers, mates, certainly not some out-of-town stranger like Claude Puel, destined to be the latest victim of a dressing room still living off a wonderful event 2 years ago. Puel is thought doomed and already names are being linked with his job. David Wagner, Rafa Benitez, but why would they want it? Leicester have money, but not money to compete consistently with the elite. They also have a squad that downs tools and spits poison if a manager so much as considers playing differently to Claudio Ranieri in 2015-16. As for the board, if they can sack Ranieri, they can sack anyone. And do. How much of a chance did Craig Shakespeare really get? If Puel goes in the summer, he won't even have had the opportunity to mold his own team. Leicester are shaping up like Chelsea without the upside. We all know why managers keep signing up at Stamford Bridge, but Leicester? Carry on like this and they'll have to make the payoffs extremely appealing. They can't simply rely on all that lovely togetherness. Who'll tell Ronaldo he's out? If Cristiano Ronaldo's ankle injury is more serious than imagined, it will be very interesting to see if anyone at Real Madrid has the clout to tell him the truth about the wisdom of starting in the Champions League final. Ronaldo is a match winner, but even he cannot survive an encounter with Liverpool half fit. But who would be empowered to say that? Maybe not even Zinedine Zidane. Don't apologize for doing your job. Crystal Palace full-back Patrick Van Aanholt scored the goal that relegated Stoke at the weekend, then tweeted, "Normally I like to celebrate when I score, but I'd like to apologize to Stoke City and their fans. I wish my goal didn't relegate you. What the hell was that about?" Van Aanholt has never set foot in Stoke, never spent more than a minute there except for professional reasons. Why not celebrate? Why apologize? Yes, Stoke have loud, enthusiastic fans that fill their ground with atmosphere, but so do Palace. And on Saturday many of them made a hot and arduous journey north to support a team that have not always given them the greatest pleasure this season. So celebrate, for them. Smile, for them. They paid money in the hope Palace would win. Stoke needed to look out for themselves. There was nothing to apologize for. Blame UEFA for Kiev sting. It is not just the outrageous hotel prices, the dwindling available flights, or the fact UEFA block off half the city for themselves and the famous football family. Whenever there is a Champions League final. Now that television dictates the semi-finals are played on separate days, it gives fans of one of the finalists a significant advantage in snapping up the available facilities. By the time Liverpool knew they were through to Kiev, followers of Real Madrid had 24 hours to secure the remaining accommodation. Reduced availability left prices at a premium. It was the same for England's supporters at the European Championship in 2012. France had known they were playing in Donetsk on June 11 for almost an hour when England's name emerged, one of the last, from the hat. French fans got the break on the very scant hotel rooms. With a draw, however, this is unavoidable. For the Champions League final, it is simply unfair, and UEFA have made it this way. More should be done to avoid the rip-offs, too. Now the final goes out to tender. One condition should be that no hotel room can be sold for more than 5 times its price in an average week. And while that still sounds exorbitant, current markups are well in advance. A Kiev hotel that usually charges £22 per night, is currently on the market for £1,307.66, on Booking.com. That is almost 60 times usual cost. And, incredibly, it has takers. Past flops dent Fulham's hopes this time last season. Fulham were storming into the Championship playoffs on the back of 5 wins and a draw in 6 matches. They were every pundit's tip to win promotion as the team informed. Their playoff semi-final opponents Reading had lost twice in the same period, including 7-1 at Norwich. What happened? Fulham fell at the first hurdle, beaten 2-1 by Reading on aggregate. This year, they arrive as the team in form again. 15 wins and 4 draws in 19 matches, pushing Cardiff all the way for the second promotion place. And what just happened? An out-of-character 3-1 defeat at Birmingham in the final game of the season. No one will be too cocksure about Friday's playoff semi-final visit to Derby. Shaqiri shown up by the Stoke downturn. George Graham had a maxim on which he built his Arsenal team. Never buy a player who is taking a step down to join you, he would say. He'll think he's doing you a favour. The league has moved on since then, and with the money now pouring into English football, it is not unusual to see a middling club taking talent from Inter Milan, say, or Valencia. Yet, watching the sorry state of Stoke this season, it is very possible Graham had a point. What did Stoke look like, other than a collection of individuals who thought the club should feel honoured to play them? Some have already deserted and, at the weekend, former Bayern Munich and Inter winger Xherdan Shaqiri began planning a predictable exit. Everybody knows I wanted to play at the highest level, he said. Yet watching Shaqiri bung vital corners into the first man, or lose his balance in the box as Stoke chased the game against Crystal Palace, it was hard to reconcile how much higher he thinks he should be playing. He looked every inch a Stoke player, every inch a relegation candidate, and he has been one of their better ones this season. People thought Graham was a man out of time by the end, but as Stoke slipped away, his cynicism seemed more relevant than ever. Huddersfield are the sentimental choice to stay up this season. Arsene Wenger carries our sentimental hope that he will end his Arsenal career with a win. If Huddersfield's survival depends on getting 3 points on Sunday, a lot of neutrals will feel very torn about the fixture at the John Smith Stadium.